Dear student, welcome to the course of basic genetics, and we are discussing about various ways to determine sex and the inheritance of the sexual traits. In this class, we are going to discuss about the XX and XO, ZZ and ZW, and haploid and diploid systems of determining the sex. So, we are still discussing about the chromosomal basis of the sex determination. In the last class, we discussed how the XX and XY system determines sex in Drosophila and human, right. I also told you that in case of Drosophila, XX is a female, XY is a male. Same is true for human. XX is a female and XY is a male, right. But I told you one important thing, that X chromosome is more important, much more important in Drosophila compared to Y chromosome, right. In case of XO, if you don't have another X copy, then it becomes a male. Whereas in case of human, you absolutely need Y chromosome, absolutely, because of the presence of SRY gene. And if you don't have Y chromosome, if it is an XO, then it will be a female here, because you don't have Y chromosome, right. So, this is a quick revision of the last class, and in this class we will discuss about these various system XX, XO and ZZ, ZW and haploid diploid system. So, first let us understand few terms. Sometimes we get very confused about them, they appear very similar. So, homozygous, you all know, I am 100% sure, when we have two copies of the gene, right, when both are of the same type, then they are homozygous. When they are heterozygous, we have different copies. We have one allele of one type for the same gene. We are talking about one gene, right. So, for one gene, both the alleles are same in homozygous. For one gene, both the alleles are different in case of heterozygous. And what is this hemizygous? Hemizygous come when you have only one copy of that allele and another chromosome, like you know Y chromosome. So, there are many genes that are present on X chromosome, but they are not present on Y chromosome, right. So, they are in what this thing is called, it is called hemizygous condition, right. You can see this hemizygous condition in case of male, human male or Drosophila male. Wherever you see this kind of chromosomes which have these two different homologs present. Now, homogametic means it is an organism which produce all the gametes of same type, right. So, like XX, so all the gametes are X or X. Heterogametic like XY, right. When it will produce a gamete, you will have X as well as Y. So, this is heterogametic. And then dimorphic sex chromosomes. Dimorphic sex chromosome is di means two, morphic means shape. So, dimorphic X chromosome like X and Y, right. So, you have dimorphic sex chromosome because one chromosome is X and another chromosome is Y. Now, let us come to the XX and XO system. So, this XX and XO system actually, again, it is a sort of bit repetition. We have seen this XO system in case of grasshopper. Like grasshopper, when it was discovered, don't forget, it was McClung and Sutton. They were working on a grasshopper and they were first time show that grasshopper has the XXXO system. Sutton, who was the one who was working on chromosomal theory of inheritance, and his teacher actually, McClung. So, the credit of this system in grasshopper goes to Clung, who was teacher of Sutton, right. So, in some species, male have only one X chromosome. So, O is actually representing what? Absence. So, no chromosome is present, that is what is O. There is no, remember later, like before we saw X and Y, right. So, both are chromosome, but X and O, O is no chromosome, it is just X. Because just for the simplicity and so that to avoid any confusion, here the word placed as O. So, what is happening? The grasshopper is amongst the first organism where XX and XO system was discovered, right? If this X, when we are crossing it, it will be making X chromosome and X chromosome, a female, and a male will be making X chromosome and no X chromosome. Rest of the autosomes are present as such, right? So 11, I have written here, male grasshopper has 11 pair of autosome and a single X chromosome, right? So all the other 11 chromosomes are present everywhere, plus this X chromosome, and here only these 11 chromosomes are present and no X chromosome. So if this X goes with this, then you have XX, and if this X goes with this, then you have XO. So this is going to be a male and this is a female, right? So female has 2 X chromosomes and male has only 1 X chromosome. And this discovery actually helped in establishing chromosomal composition, is important for determining the sex, not actually the environment. So other than grasshopper, the Caenorhabditis elegans also have this exosystem. Remember, this is a very important model organism. It has, helped us understand about apoptosis. What is apoptosis? Is cell death, programmed cell death. You will understand and read about it in your maybe cell biology classes or maybe some advanced classes where you will be understanding about different signalings. It's one of the way through which the defective cells are eliminated from the body. And also the normal cells that are not in use and will not be of any use in future, they are also selectively eliminated by this pathway. Not just this, but there are many, how neurons interact, how they form complicated networks, and many things like that have been discovered in C. elegans. So it's a very important model organism, like Drosophila, like bacteria, like yeast, and like C. elegans also. Because why I'm emphasizing it, that many times students only think that we need mammalian system like mouse or maybe monkeys to understand about the human biology, but even these organisms help us understand enormously. Maybe sometimes later we'll discuss in some other course with you how these different model organisms are so important in our understanding about human. So let's come back to our topic. C. elegans, which is a nematode, also have XX and XO system, right? Hermaphrodite. So hermaphrodite is what? Hermaphrodite is where in one body male and female both are present. So in the C. elegans, the female and male part are present in the same worm, so they can actually self-fertilize, right? But then because they are also making XX and XO, as I had drawn in the previous slide, you would also have males, right? So in some cases, the female mates with male, and that brings in the genetic variability, and then the male actually deposits a sperm in the female body. So C. elegans is also an organism where XX and XO system can be seen. Now beyond XX and XY or XX and XO system, there is a system which is Z, Z and ZW. Now you will say, what ma'am, why you are taking so many different names? Just use one conventional name and keep switching it. But just so that we all don't get confused, these names have been given. So here the difference is that the male is homozygous, right? So you can see a male is homogametic, whereas the heterogrammatic is the female. Female is ZW, like XY. And that is why they have not used these same sort of letters, because then it will be very confusing when we are saying X is a female and XY is a male, and sometimes we start saying opposite. So what convention we are using here? ZZ for male and ZW for female. So the female is heterogrammatic. Birds, snakes and some insect females are ZW and males are ZZ. Remember, sometimes this is being asked, where these ZW and ZZ systems are found. So as I just mentioned, that females are heterogrammatic and males are homogametic. I already introduced you with these terms at the beginning of my my class so that you don't get confused, right? And the W chromosome often smaller and have less genes compared to the Z chromosome. And the bird that we can remember easily is our peacock, mole, right? So this is the peacock, very common peacock, a beautiful peacock which follows this system. And other than birds, the reptiles also follow this system, in amphibian, in some fishes and insects, crustaceans too, they follow this ZW system. So let's take the example of ZW system. In case of chickens and peacock, we have these ZW females and ZZ males, right? And this one beautiful gene, this cameo, because of which the peacock get these brown feathers, brown plumage. So these cameo, that cameo color is because of a gene which is present on the Z genes. Z gene, I think, and people write it as CA, ZCA, right? Just check once if the symbol that I have written is correct or not, CA for cameo. And the other color is the blue color of the peacock, these, what's it, plumage. So that is the color which gene that regulate those beautiful colors are present on the Z chromosomes. And so you can see this beautiful inheritance pattern. So Z should be CA and CA, and then it will be ZCA plus and Haplo, right? And then when we cross them, we will see ZCA plus with ZCA, right? And then, so this one, and the same way ZCA plus with ZCA, right? And then we will also have this W with ZCA and W with ZCA, right? So these will be the cameo colors. And you will see these cameo colors in case of, females, right? So that this color, right, this whatever you are getting from males is going to the daughters. So it's just opposite, crisscross inheritance, the same crisscross inheritance, but in the opposite manner as we see in case of the human. So the DMRT gene, just remember the gene. This is a gene on the Z chromosome which is a key gene. You already know SRY gene on the Y chromosome in case of human, or the DMRT1 gene on the Z chromosome in these males. And then doses of Z-linked gene influence the sex outcome. For the doses compensation, we will discuss in detail in the last class, right? And so the reptiles also follow similar type of system it exhibits, ZW system, and this is quite common. So in case of birds, all birds that we studied so far, they follow this ZZ and ZW systems, right? And then Z chromosome here also carry the DMRT1 gene, which is crucial for maleness. And females have only one copy of DMRT1 gene, which is not sufficient to trigger the testis development, right? That is what it is. So no strong one copy. Why one copy? Because it only has one copy of Z chromosome. No strong evidence of Y-linked genes that are actively involved in femaleness. So mostly it's the presence of this Z chromosome which is actually required for the determination. So a study shows that in complete dosage compensation, meaning Z-linked genes are expressed more in males than female, and they are important for the proper determination of sex. And what is the haploidy and diploidy? The great example is our honeybee. You can see it in wasp, you can also see it in ants. So what is it? What we see is that in these organisms, you see diploid organism, functional diploid organism, and functional haploid organism. That's amazing, because mostly the haploid are male and diploid are female, And what you also see, the concept of eusocialism, means true society, where the division of work is so enormous that everybody is doing their job. So queen, so female, there are two types of female. One is queen and another are workers, right? So queen, they both are two end. Remember that. Don't get confused. They both are two end. The only thing is that a queen is a fertile female which lay eggs, but workers are sterile. They do have ovaries and everything, and then if queen is not there, in some cases of workers being fed with the royal jelly and they become queen. But when a queen is there in a hive, these workers never lay egg, right? So these workers, they do all sort of household work and they are two end, remember that. And the drone, the male, which we call as drone, they are haploid. So they provide the genome. When they are fertilize an egg, the egg become two end, and all the eggs that are fertilized, they are the female, and all the unfertilized eggs are male. So these are some key points here. So diploid individuals are female, haploid are male, fertilized egg develop into a diploid female, whereas unfertilized egg develop as a haploid male. One thing that you have interesting, sometimes there are interesting way to say things. So male have no father. Why? Because it's a female which lays, this is a female, right, which is 2n, and it lays the egg. They are 2n or n, because what happens when there is an egg, right, which is n, and then when it is fertilized, it becomes another n, so 2n, right, and then becomes a female. 2n is always female. So this female queen, which is 2n, can have an opportunity to lay fertilized as well as unfertilized eggs, and all the unfertilized eggs become the male. So these unfertilized eggs actually have no father, right? So that is what they have written here, but they can pass genes to their offsprings. And here I have summarized the systems that we have learned so far so that you can compare. So XX and XY system I have listed here, ZZ and ZW system I have listed here, XX and XO system is here, and haploid-diploid systems are here, right? And what are the female genotypes? You can see here, right? And male genotypes, they are written here. Male is XO in XO system. So in this comparison, heterogrammatic sex is male for XY system. You can see the heterogrammatic sex in XY system is male, and heterogrammatic is female in ZW system, and again heterogrammatic is a male in the XO system. Whereas homogrammatic, as we know, XX is a homogrammatic, ZZ is a homogrammatic, but ZZ is a male, not a female in the ZZZW system, and then XX is a female in the XXXO system. So that is not easy to remember. This is easy to remember, no confusion, right? And then presence of Y and W chromosomes. Now you know that W chromosomes are present in case of the ZZW system, right? And dosage compensation, again I will discuss it in the later class, but just so that you are aware of the thing, that it is present in XY system. In actually case of Drosophila, it is a hyperactivation of X chromosome, we will discuss about it. And in case of ZZW system, it is often incomplete, and in case of nematode, it is partial, right? And here are the examples I have already mentioned earlier, right? And then these are the chromosome morphologies, and that X and Y differ, Z and W differ, and here only one X chromosome is there, right? And in case of haploid and diploid, you can see that the homogrammatic is actually the male, and the haploid, no chromosome pair, and in the female due to fertilization, heterogrammatic. So no sex chromosomes are involved. Examples are bee and ants, and haploids are single sets, diploids are pair. So this is pretty much it. What you can do is just go through them so that you can revise your concept once you if whenever you want to, look at the facts once again. And so with that, I'll leave you with this activity question which is reflected on your screen. And in this question, I'm asking, in a population of a social insect, male are haploid and females are diploid. A student claimed this system could lead to strong cooperative behavior among sisters than XX, XY or ZZ, ZW system. So which of the following best explains this phenomena? You need to read these options and mark which option you think is correct, but you also have to justify your answer. So send me a paragraph to explain why you think an option that you chose is correct. And there's one more very interesting question that I want you to do some research, where I'm asking you to write a short note on Y chromosome inheritance pattern and also comparing it with the Bharatiya Gotra system. So read a little bit more about what are the Gotra system, why these Gotra systems were conventionally followed in our ancient system, and with this modern understanding of Y chromosome inheritance, what actually we learn more, what sort of comparatives we can set. So, I think that it will be a very nice thing for you to connect the ancient Indian science with the modern knowledge. And with that, I like to thank you all for your time and understanding. And if any place you think then things are not clear and you need more discussion for your better understanding, please feel free to drop me a message or a mail. And with that, I take your leave. We'll see you in the next class.